Hi, and welcome to this PowerShell tutorial. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a new module that I just discovered recently, and we're going to be having a few other videos with this module. I just found this module like a couple days ago. I haven't done too much with it, but I want to show you guys how much easier it is to make very nice HTML pages with just a very simple understanding of how this module works. And I'll be making more videos with this module because there are a lot more things that you can do with this module with HTML reports, dashboards, and emails. So I think this module is kind of cool. It's called the PSWriteHTML module. And we're going to be seeing some simple HTML outputs that look very nice, that are very easy to do some formatting on. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at how to install the module and just use the very basic HTML table and the out-html view from this module to create some pretty nice HTML reports out of the box. So the first thing we're going to want to do is install the module. So we're going to want to do install module, and then the name of the module is PSWriteHTML. And we're just going to want to allow the clobber and force, and you're just going to want to run this. This may take a few seconds. It doesn't take very long to install. And once it is installed, you are all good to go, and we can actually start using the module. So the first thing that we're going to do is just show you guys a very simple example of a get service commandlet pumped into an HTML report of sorts. So let's actually go ahead and let's take a look to see how nice we can actually make this from the basic version. So what we're going to want to first do is just store all of our services into a variable here. I'm going to call my variable services. So we're going to make this equal to get service. And I only want a limited set of the information. So I'm just going to say select name, service name, status, and start type. All right. And we can actually go ahead. We could actually just run this right away. You will see some red on my screen because we can't actually query those services. But here we are. We actually have a list of our services that are running on this computer right now. And we have the start type and the actual name of the service. So let's go ahead and let's make us a new HTML table. So the first thing that we would want to do is if we're creating a report that we would actually want to send to people, is we would then start with this new HTML commandlet. And then what we're going to want to do is actually do an open and close curly bracket here right off the bat. All right. And then in here, what we're going to do is we're going to do a new HTML table. So as you can see, there are a lot of options in here that we can actually do. We're only going to be taking a look at just the tables today, but they actually are very nice by default. So I think this will come in handy for a lot of different people here. And I'm going to be making a couple more videos on this module because I think this module is very neat on what you can actually achieve. So once we create our new HTML table, our data table that we're going to be pointing to is going to be our services. And we're going to give it a title here. What I like to do for my title is if I was making this for my servers, for example, I would just go ahead and put a variable wrapper in here and go into the environment variable and put computer name and then do services. So this would be a HTML page of all the services currently running on my server. And then what we're going to do for now is that's really all we're going to do. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a little parameter after here. And we are going to say show HTML. And let's go ahead and let's run this code here. You're going to see it's going to actually pop up an HTML page here in your browser of your choice. You might be prompted for a browser selection. I have mine set to Edge as my default HTML browser. So as you can see here, we actually have a table of all of our services, and we can actually copy these. We can actually export it to Excel, export it to a CSV, export it to a PDF. So if you actually click on the export to Excel, it will actually automatically download an Excel file. If you click on the CSV, it will automatically download the CSV file. You can actually go ahead, open it, and you will actually notice that it is actually fully exported and fully works nicely here. You can also change the different, you can show all the rows, so we can go ahead and see all the different rows. You have access to a search builder in here. So you can add a condition. Let's say you wanted it an and or an or. You can actually change that here. Put the start type is equal to automatic. And there you go. It only shows me now the start types that are automatic. If we want to go ahead, we can even search up here. We do, so there it is, SPP. We get SPP service. If we wanted to do spooler, and it always updates as you type. So it makes a very, very nice page. Very simply off just this. This is all we needed to create this very nice page. And we actually have ability to do even more. So what I like to actually do is set the paging length. So that will set the automatic size of the pages. We're just going to set it for 25 now. We're going to see the differences. What I also like to add is I like to add the search pane, which we're going to see what this looks like now. So now that we actually have this here, let's see how it looks. So let's go ahead, let's run this again. And here we actually have our search pane here. Now you can actually collapse it so you don't actually have to see it, or you can do a show all. And here you can actually just select automatic, and it will automatically filter what you have here. So you can say running and automatic will show you only the services that are running and automatic. And you can see that the paging length I've set to 25, it is automatically set to show the 25 rows. But if I actually change the paging length here to 100, let's just run this code here now. The page size will automatically show 100 rows. So now we're going to be showing off 100 services right off the bat. So you can actually do these custom page sizes. You can add these search panes that are very nice. As you can see, we can very nicely see these rows. You can click on them to highlight the exact row so you can easily read all the information on it. It's just a very, very nice module. It makes HTML reports very easy. And what we can actually do is we can actually do even more. So what I like to do, since we already put a title to the HTML page, which if we actually go ahead and we go ahead and look at this here, go and just run it again here, we don't necessarily see our title. So what we need to do is we need to do the new HTML title text. And I like to put the same title text that I put in here. And this will give our page an actual title. But what we can actually do as well is on the new HTML table here, we can do a pre-content. And this will have to be in a script block here. So we need to open and close curly brackets. And then what I like to do is I like to just put a set of double quotes and put that same text. But what we do is we actually wrap it in H1 tags, because this will be read in as HTML. So we could put H1 tags here. And let's go ahead and let's see how this looks like now. We can actually see, we get our computer name, services. We can actually see the name at the top here, our Our tab name also is that as well. So we can actually see like it does actually starting to look quite nice. Now let's add some formatting to the table here to make it to where if it is stopped and automatic, we actually do have one of those here. So if we go SPP, we have stopped, but it isn't automatic. So it should actually probably be running in our situation. A lot of times when you have servers, you'll know which ones should be running, and you can add these conditional formatting rules to actually highlight the ones that should be running. This way, you can actually quickly see what there is a problem. And what you can actually do with these HTML pages is you can actually send them to an IIS server and then maybe have like a home page which will have a link for all the other pages, which are all going to be your servers, and name them with the server name, and you can have an accurate view of all the services on your server. Maybe it's not the best solution to see your services. There are a lot of other solutions that can do this for you. But if you want something that is free and very fun to build as a project to learn PowerShell, this is definitely something I would recommend. So let's go ahead and let's build out a little bit more here. So we have our pre-content. Now let's add some formatting rules. So after the pre-content here, we're going to add another open and closing curly bracket. And what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and do a new table condition. All right. And then what we're going to do is a new table condition group here. And we need to put a logic. So everything that in this group is going to be applied the logic of and, none, or. So what I want to do is an and, because I want if these services are automatic, and so the start type is automatic and the status is currently stopped. So I want the logic of and then what I want is if it does happen to actually equal to true here, I want the background color to be red, and I want the whole row to be red. All right, and then we're going to do an open and closing curly bracket once again, and this is going to contain our table conditions. So we want to do a new table condition, and we want to do the name. So we want to do our name here as status. Our comparison type is going to be a string. Our operator is going to be equal. And our value here is going to be stopped. All right, and then we're going to have our another one. So a new table condition. Our name is going to be start type. Comparison type is going to be string. Operator is going to be equal. Value is going to be automatic. All right, so this actually should be good here. So let's go ahead and let's run this code. All right, and let's look at all the automatics here. And there is our stopped services here that are stopped, but they are also automatic. So we were able to find all of them. Now you can actually even put more of these. So if we actually just shrink this here, and we actually copy this new table condition group, and we just do another one, we can actually do the same and do the background color be green, and that is if the status is running and automatic. So now we're going to quickly see that we've already put in a red row. We can put in some green ones, and there they are. They're all green. So now if we filter on automatic, they will all be either green or red. So that is awesome. We can actually see all of them as well. So that is all good to go. Now, what there might be is maybe you're putting things into table that have a lot of different rows. You're going to notice that the page might slow down. So what you can actually do here is before the new HTML table, you can actually do a new HTML table option. And then the data store, you can actually pick Ajax, JSON, HTML, or JavaScript. By default, it will always pick HTML if you don't put this in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick JavaScript. And let's go ahead and let's just run this code once again. Now, it doesn't actually make the execution of the code that much faster. But if we go ahead and we just view the page source here, might take a few seconds here to load in the page source. And there it is. So here's the page source. So you're going to see it has tons of JavaScript in here. To make all of these tables. And there is the JavaScript right here for the actual table. So we have all of our data in here. So you can see it does make very, very nice. And if you don't know JavaScript, maybe this is another way to actually learn JavaScript as well. You can easily see your data table conditional formatting. There is all of our different formatting rules that we've created. So this is a very, very neat little module that lets you really create some interesting HTML reports quite easily. And now that we have our show HTML, what we can actually do, now we've never actually created a file, but what we can actually do now is do a file path here, and then go ahead and do double quotes, and we can actually output this here. So what I like to do is I like to just copy the path, and we're going to pump it right into here. And all we're going to do is we are going to say a simple.html. And let's go ahead and let's run this here. And we're going to see the HTML is still going to pop up. Now we have a nice little name up here. And we have the HTML code right in here as well. So what you could do is similar to what I was saying earlier, is maybe you would want to pump this to your IIS server in the inet pub and name the server just simply the name of your actual computer here. So we would have n computer name, and you can go ahead and pump that out here. And there it is with the name of the actual server. Now there are things, I haven't explored this whole module yet, but there are entire things to make dashboards. So you can make dashboards with tons of different panels with different things. So you'd be able to make a dashboard with a panel with all the services, a panel with maybe some information on the hard drive space, on the RAM usage. Make a very nice little dashboard to have a status of your servers just using this PSWriteHTML. Now, of course, you could actually do all of this yourself as well if you know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript with just vanilla PowerShell, but it would take a lot of work, and this is very, very simple to actually build out your pages and have them look very nice. Now, let's say you want to actually just make a ad hoc report. You can actually use this module as well. As you saw, you could use this method as well. This method would work. You don't have to put in a file path and it will generate something very simple for you. But the actual very simple is if you just did a get service and you actually pipe that to an out-html view, and you go ahead and just run this line here, very simple, 2 commandlets. You have your very basic option here of all your different services. You can actually open them to see more detail here. So if you wanted to, you can as well do the select statement in the middle of this, and then just repipe that out to the out-html view. And if you do that, You get a very similar view to what we had before, minus all the pre-content and the formatting. But the interesting thing is you can actually do the exact same thing here. So if we actually just copied all of our pre-content and our curly bracket formatting here, yep, that's all we need. And we just pasted that in here and we run this, you will actually see that we get that exact same build. We don't get the search pane because we didn't add that that parameter in there. But if we go ahead and we just go show all rows, we will see that we do have our red still and our green. And you can definitely add a whole bunch of different formatting, some different conditions. You can also, in the out-html view as well, you can do the paging length to be 100. And you can do the search pane as well. So if we go ahead and we run this, you will see that it will be a very, very similar view to what we saw before. But this one just simply outs the view, doesn't put it into any file. And then you actually have the new HTML, which gives you a little bit more flexibility on what you can actually do. But if you just want something simple, the out-html view is very, very good. Very similar to the out grid view that you can actually use and pop out a window in PowerShell and see all the different details that we've seen a few times. But if you guys thought this module was cool, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys would like to see more on this module, I will definitely be making more anyways, especially for dashboards and reports and emails. I think this tool can definitely be useful to a lot of different people on this channel. So I will be posting more of these. If you guys have any comments or questions on anything that you guys have seen here or have any other modules that you guys would like me to take a look at, please let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also be sure to hit that notification bell to be notified when that next video comes out, and I will see you guys on the next video.